Hello and welcome to another part of Old Man Plays Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition Blind Playthrough. In the last episode we went to find Gobet into the sinking ship, and during that encounter we have found out that some of the people were possessed by the Red King. We were able to save some people there and got Gobet back, and now we are again in Heoi. So let's continue. Heoi. Captain's Jomo speedboat carries you away from the sinking ship. Now liberated from the tyranny of the Red King once and for all, the shiny object rests with Valvina's bones at the bottom of Hong Kong Bay. Gobet stares back at the raft as it recedes into the distance. Her expression is at once happy and sad. Isabel takes her hand, and together they turn away. Heoi grows closer. You're going home. Eight karma gained. Your comlink chirps and kindly Cheng's rusty voice slides through the speaker. You can hear the sounds of mahjong players laughing in the background. It's Auntie Cheng, dear. You've been gone a while, Auntie. I wondered when you were coming back. I'm here now, and I have a present for you, little one. She sounds like a big cat sitting triumphant on the carcass of the wildebeest. I have a lead on the location of the plastic-faced man, the man we saw in the surveillance footage meeting Raymond Black at the tea house on the docks. How do you get this lead? I'll explain everything in person. Come see me and we'll talk. Plus one action point. Your experience has increased your ability to operate in dangerous situation. And objective, exit. Go find kindly Cheng or meet her. So we have now also level up for our team. Let's see. Disease. Good. I think I take this one. Espionage or sabotage? I think I take sabotage. Plague Barrier. And Raktar. I take the melee. Are you sure that you want to convert this selection? This section cannot be undone. Confirm. Okay, so we are now level 5 with every of our team members, and here kindly checks information. Oh, and 11 karma. This one. And one more strength. That will be it. So I think I should go first to my ship. And let's check the mission. Nope. Let's check if we can take a nap or not. Not this time. So let's check the mission computer. Your workstation and mission computer. The cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. A blinking message in the upper right corner notifies that you have to unread messages. Check your inbox. More notes. From Craftishu to Memu. More notes. Memu. While I was blazing through my mom's journal, something struck me. We've spent so much time reading about the walled city that we haven't thought to look at it. To paint a picture with the information we've been gathering. So, I contacted a friend of mine, Riley, and asked her to pull some data for me. Her results were surprising, and for what it's worth, I think we're onto something. Riley dug up her records of things like reported sleep disturbances, psychotic breaks, HKPF responses to cult activities, etc. She found that they all form a classic bullseye hit pattern around the walled city. She couldn't find any data from within the walled city itself, but the outside data was still enough to establish the pattern inside the slum. This has got to be more than a coincidence. It's too unnatural to be attributed to anything else. I don't know what it means yet, but I've got my nose to the books. I'll let you know when I find out. One more thing. The last email I sent you, the one with my mother's notes. I went ahead and reread it, and it took me back to the source text, and I was able to pull something else from her list. This isn't much, but it seems to be pretty consistent across her lamblings. If I'm reading it right, it's kind of like a set of rules that govern the interactions of the Yama Kings. It's surprisingly bureaucratic if I'm reading it right. The most interesting tidbit is this. There's something here about the kings being unable to back down in a deal. It's like if they give an inch, they forfeit everything. From what I'm reading, the Yama Kings have their own code of laws. They don't have to follow them unless you know how to call them on it. Like, they break the rules all the time, but if you can't cite chapter and verse on which rule they're breaking, it doesn't matter to them. Approach from a place of wisdom, though, and you can bind them with their own laws. Anyway, this is all really arcane stuff, and I think that there might be something here. I can't vouch for any of it, obviously. When you take a step back, it all sounds like crazy talk, but one thing that I can tell you for certain, my mother believed it was true. If anything else comes up, you'll be the first to know. Crafty. You have one unread message. Urgent problem. From Bao Jianzhong. Mamu. Subject urgent problem. We have a problem to sell. It is urgent. Meet me at the Mahjong Parlor. Kindly orders. Strangler Bao. You have 0 unread messages. Go back. Okay. Open your jobs directory. Review notes on completed jobs. Nope. View all pending jobs. Nothing. View all active jobs. And review notes on completed jobs. Nothing new. So, access the Shadowrun BBS. Shadowland connection established successfully. Links ranked 100%. Spoofing 1. Group info. Null Anon. Welcome to Shadowland. Search BBS for relevant keywords. Topics. Matching local keywords. Threat explosion in Eastern District. What's up with all the explosions rocking the Eastern District? My walls were just shaking. Say what? 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Ward has its Shireways has a secret lab tucked away in an old industrial building out here. I'm guessing the rumor's true. Mistress Tiny. Correction. I think Shireways had a lab out here. Sandwiches are sexy. It's really stinking when I'm at. It's a cross between sulfur and weirdly new car smell. I wonder what they were doing. Say what? 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Better put on your gas mask for good measure, man. Mistress Tiny. No more posts and this threat. Decker looking for a team. Experienced Decker looking for a team to run with. Potential for a longer-term arrangement. I've taken over the business interest of a team of runners running basic haste and an occasional transport gig. I'm in contact with a reliable fixer and will be working with the old team's long list of pick lines. Requirements. You must not take experimental steam running drugs. You must not take experimental steams during runs. You must not tamper with chemicals in secret labs. You must know how to properly operate a moped. You must listen to your decker when your decker says, I don't have control of that turret yet. You must have a good sense of humor. Optional. Shenzhen Joe. So, the old team have died because they were too eager, and the new decker didn't control the turret yet. Interesting. Hey, what happened to Gimme Some New and 888? I recognize this ad. It's his boilerplate. His team was always looking for a new decker. What the hell happened? Blinky Gotcha 23. You see that 4th item on the requirement list? Shenzhen Joe. Oh shit, that's nuts. Or are all of them gone? Muffin Top Ninja, Captain Scone, Blinking Gotcha, Blinky Gotcha 2-3? All of them. When Explode is you. I hardly got to know them, but they were good people. Shenzhen Joe. What a terrible loss. You had no idea who you were running the shadows with, huh? Explode was a great war hero. Though tough as nails, could have tipped the scales for Taiwan if she hadn't knocked herself out with the force of her own mana blast at a crucial moment. Blinky Gotcha 23. No shit. Shenzhen Joe. It gets better. Muffin Top Ninja was one of the most revered martial arts masters in the JIS until his health began to fail. He was well known for his self-deprecating humor, and Gimme Some New and 888 was a great philanthropist. Every credit he earned he poured back into helping the indigent population of the walled city, where he grew up. Blinky Gotcha 23. And Captain Scone? Kinda chuckled at his name, but now I'm thinking there's more to it. Shenzhen Joe. I'll say he was a Scottish separatist who campaigned tirelessly for the restoration of his country. When his activism drew too many enemies, he fled and became a pillar of the Scottish expat community in HK. As for his name, think Stone of Scone. These amazing people just couldn't catch a break. And now this. RIP. Blinky Gotcha 23. I'm mortified. I wish I had gotten to know them better. I wish I'd gotten the thread down faster. Seems like you knew them very well, then. Shenzhen Joe. I suppose so. I'm a ducker who responded to one of their first ads. My gut said not to join them, but we developed a lot of mutual respect over the years. I never thought I'd live to see one of their deckers leave. Blinky Gotcha 23. Well, although it would make two deckers, I don't suppose you'd like to team up? Shenzhen Joe. I don't think so. No. Blinky Gotcha 23. No more first in this thread. Claim payment for sold pay data. Ending transaction. Claim payment for the experimental RS research. 792 new yens. Data sold successfully. Winning bid 880 new yens. Escrow fee 10%. 88 new yens. Funds sent to Memo's account 792 new yens. Pending transactions. Go back. I don't think I have any body data for sale. Nope. Go back. And search BBS for relevant keywords. Oh, I forgot I already had that. Yeah, welcome, and let's find out our team members. Or no, let's go to talk to Kindly Chen first. Yep, all of my team members are here. Dr. Shengyang still the same. What are you, slow? I got nothing else for you until you did the dirt on Ma. Dr. Shenyang makes a showing gesture with his hands. You get a job, now go do it. Let's talk to Strangler Bao first. Stranglebrow stands impassively, muscular arms folded across his chest. The low noise and state smell of the Mahjong parlor seems to glance off him, like rain off a granny statue. He acknowledges you with a nod, a quarter of an inch. His rumbling bass voice seems to vibrate the floorboards. We have a problem. Maximum law. Bow says it as if it explains everything. He's been talking in the Matrix about your jobs. It's drawing attention. Kindly warns him, shut up. I've noticed. I've been meaning to handle that. Good, but you've been slow. Law isn't being discreet. He needs to be discreet. Bao leans forward just a little, shifting onto the balls of his feet, like a tilting slab of concrete. Your job is to fix the situation. Don't bother finding me when you're done, unless there's something to clean up. I've got better things to do with my time. He eyes you skeptically. Any questions? What do you mean by fix the situation? Just make him shut up. What happens to Law doesn't matter to anyone. He has no family here, no standing. Why doesn't the Yellow Lotus handle this? We are, Bao smirks. Did you forget? You are an instrument of the Yellow Lotus. Seems ironic that you're handling this. Bao's gaze doesn't flicker. Just take care of it, Mamu. Law's got leverage. He's 1-1. Leverage? He's entry level. The 1-1s recruits a lot of fresh meat and cool off those who are unfit. We are the ones who have pulled with 1-1. Law pushes a wheelbarrow. I'll take care of it. If you need to kill him, don't make a neighborhood scene. That upsets people. Do this like you're from here, respectful of the peace. It may be difficult. You'll probably need to do it on that boat of his. He almost never leaves it. This needs to be handled soon. Strangler brow grunts and nods almost imperceptibly, as if to signal the end of the conversation. Thank you, Memo. Your skill is appreciated. Save the flow rewards, Bao. I'm just doing a job. Okay, so... giving the information to Maximum Law brought him a big trouble. Okay, let's talk to Kindle Cheng. Kindly Cheng is in the midst of emptying 2 plastic shopping bags when you enter. She places the contents in a pile on her mahjong table, 2 liquor bottles without labels, bags of her thin black cigars, an assortment of individually wrapped gourmet chocolates, and a large caliber pistol with electrical tape wrapped around its grip. Ah, good, you're here. She finishes with the plastic bags and throws them to the floor. It seems like forever since we saw each other. Welcome back. Was your trip worthwhile? Her voice is filled with a rusty energy. Yes, my darling, yes. I met with several contacts within my network who referred me to others in neighboring cities. Regardless of how far technology moves forward, tradition demands that some things be handled face to face. I have returned with information that will lead you to the plastic-faced man, the man who killed Raymond Black. Excellent. While you were gone, we uncovered a relationship between Josephine Tang and Raymond Black. The tried woman's eyes narrow. Did you? And what was it you uncovered? It's fiction, made up. His real name is Edward Tsang. Fiction, eh? Her brow furrows. Josephine's sons, Edward. So that explains where he went when he disappeared years ago. Seattle. Any idea why he disappeared? No, just that he went missing after Josephine completed rebuilding the walled city. That was in the early 30s. Her face twists into a mask of disgust. You realize that what this means, don't you, my sweet? That inbred little god whore was cold enough to have her own son executed. Your turn. Did your out-of-town networking produce the results you were looking for? Oh yes, exactly the results I was looking for. She grabs a bottle and opens it. I know the identity of the plastic-faced man. His name is Lee Tai Lung, and he's an independent contractor, a trusted deniable asset who handles all of Josephine Tang's more delicate operations of the books and away from the public eye. The plastic-faced man is her shadowy right hand outside of the corporation. Cheng doesn't bother with the glass. She takes a long pull of the stinking bottle and wipes her mouth with the back of her hand. And I know how to find him too. I made contact with an information broker, Xiao Ji, who works out of an abandoned night market in Shek Kip Mei called the Xinghao's Court. It's not hard to find. She takes another pull on the bottle. Xiao Ji has gained access to the plastic-faced man's complete itinerary, where he'll be, who he'll be with, what sort of security he'll have, the works. She grins glassy-eyed. You can use it to perform an extraction, grab him, and find out what he knows. Did you find out why Lee has a face made of plastic? It's not just his face. Lee Tai Lung's entire skull is synthetic. He's designed himself to be the perfect corporate operative. He's installed a unique piece of hardware, you see. It allocates and compartmentalizes client-related memories so that they can be erased upon the completion of a job. And as an added security measure, this cortical implant will wipe his memory if it detects that he's been captured. So we need a way to circumvent the implant. Exactly. Unless you can find a way around the cortical implant, you will have no way to extract the information he has and figure out what happened to Raymond Black. She circles the mouth of the bottle with her finger. No, I've done my part in this, my darling. You need to find a way to neutralize that device. Isabel interjects, her voice breaking slightly as she speaks. I know a way. I've heard of something like this before. I met someone in the Matrix who had to shirk a similar memory wipe implant once. It was a requirement for a big job, and she pulled it off. Keep talking. Her handle is Dreamland, and I know where to find her. All that we have to do is convince her to give up the secret of how she did it. Okay, Isabel, and I will go see Dreamland before we hit the information broker. Then we grab the plastic-faced man. No matter who you choose to help you snatch this guy, I'm gonna be there when you extract the information from him about Raymond, who crosses his arms across his chest and tilts his head towards you. You get it, FH? We should all be there. Gobbett's eyebrows at arch high. I know that I wanna see this. Very good, my darlings. Now listen to me. After you get what you need from the plastic-faced man, I want you to end him. You understand? The triad boss stamps the table with her finger. I need to send a very clear message that this is what happens when you mess with Kindly Cheng's operations. With Kindly Cheng's people. Josephine takes Niger, I take her plastic-faced man. Once you snatch the plastic-faced man, Thang will know something is happening, and events will unfold very quickly after that. You'd best close out any pressing business that you have before heading to Shek Kip Mei to see Xiao Ji. Do you understand? I'll check my mission computer to see if I have any jobs I want to knock out before I hit the MTR for Shek May. Business is business, my darling. Kindly check reps on the mahjong table with an imitation ivory tile. Business has been good since you arrived. Objective edit. Take the MTR to meet Dreamland. Okay, let's talk to her just in case. No time for runners now. I have other business to attend to. Okay, so all my team is probably back at the ship, so let's get there. No time to sleep, so... well, just in case, let's check this. 0... okay, nothing, so we exhausted all the dialogues before we went to Cheng. Kaicha is examining his armor and gear, looking for defects. Mamu, I am ready to go when you are, but it doesn't hurt to do a last-minute inspection. Message me from the MTR station when you are ready. Okay, so I think the next job will be Gaichu's job. Again, the shop is quiet, no hammering of metal, no whine of heavy machinery, nothing but the sound of your own footsteps and the low electrical hum of Rector's work terminal. The monitor above the work desk is alive with vibrant imagery, graphs, technical readouts, and reference images fill the screen. He looks up at you, his face bathed in the blue light of the display. Oh, hello again, my friend. Beg for more answers? I can take the time to talk if you can. Any thoughts about that last run? No, I wasn't there, remember? I spent the evening here in my shop, designing a new manipulator assembly for Koschei. It gives you a satisfied nod. A most productive evening. All things said and done. Now, what else would you have of me? I want to continue our discussion from last time. There are some loose ends that we need to tie up. Yes, my friend, I suppose there are. Go on then, ask your questions and let us see where your inquiries take us. The last time we spoke, you told me that the essence loss didn't hurt you. I want to know why. Yes, I did tell you that, and I do owe you an explanation. He turns his head slightly, peers at you through the corner of his eye. Tell me, my friend, what do you know about essence loss and its effect on the metahuman psyche? Essence loss removes your ability to feel anything. It can drive you psychotic if you go too far. He nods. Yes, that's right. And this detachment can be deeply traumatic for the sufferer. The literature is full of such cases. He levels his gaze, focuses it on your face. There's a smile on his face, but his eyes are devoid of warmth. No. What would you say if I told you that after my accident and subsequent cyber surgery I felt no different at all? That evening in the beginning I was completely unchanged? I'd ask if you knew why. I do, in fact. Would you like to know? That's why I asked. I was born with what society has deemed a psychological defect. Out of fear of social repercussions, I spent most of my life hiding it. I still hide it even now. The lessons of my childhood were not wasted on me, and I know the value of reputation. But since the accident, I have come to recognize this quirk for what it really is, a selective advantage. What is this defect that you're talking about? Does it have a name? Absolutely. I was diagnosed as a primary psychopath at the age of 8. Koschei scuttles forward, brushing up against the rector's leg, metal on metal, separated by a thin layer of cloth. The drone's many eyes focus on you, eye rising wide open and bathing you in a dull red glare. Well, diagnosed is probably not the correct word. There is no formal diagnosis of psychopathy in the DSM, but all of the makers were there. I displayed a complete lack of empathy on the Davis Interpersonal Reactivity Index, and I scored a perfect 40 on the PCLR. A blood test showed that I had inherited a damaged gene that has been linked with aggressive behavior, and the activity level in my ventromedial prefrontal cortex is vanishingly low. Like autism, psychopathy is a spectrum, not a singular disorder. He dips his head smiling, but I'm definitely on that spectrum. You say that psychopathy is a spectrum, so where are you on that spectrum, Rector? Before I turned to the shadows, I considered myself a prosocial psychopath. That is to say, I had the markers of psychopathy, and I expressed some of the expected behaviors, but I never killed anyone. At least not until it became a job requirement. No, I'm not so sure. I will admit that there is a certain thrill to our profession. It's quite liberating being paid to hunt and kill other men. But I only indulge these appetites when I'm on the job, and I never bring my work home with me. I'm sure that this all comes as a great shock to you, but I tell you my condition is actually an advantage. One that protected me from the mental trauma of my accident and subsequent reconstruction. The psychological blow of essence loss can be devastating. This mental trauma is ultimately responsible for much of the damage and self-destructive behavior suffered by those who ride the razor edge. Of course, there is a physical limit to how far the metahuman body can be pushed, but a normal person will reach his mental breaking point far in advance of this. The loss of self, the loss of capacity, is too painful to bear. But you didn't have that breaking point? No, I did not. Indeed, I am quite certain that my breaking point does not exist. What does it matter to me if my capacity for empathy and conscience is stripped away? I never possessed either of those qualities in the first place. Okay, you say that your mental condition protected you from the trauma of essence loss. Got any proof of that? I have myself my own experience. Nearly all of my essence was stripped away in a single stroke, and I didn't even notice. What more do you need? Actual proof. Your subjective experience doesn't qualify. No, I suppose not, but I know it to be true. All the same, my hypothesis makes good sense. I have never possessed the sense of humanity that others hold so dear. If having it stripped away is traumatic, then it stands to reason that I would be protected from that trauma. Etiquette choice? Yes, this whole theory of yours is based on anecdotal evidence. You have a sample size of 1, Rector. Yes, that is true. Still, I'm certain that time will prove me right. More certain of it than I have ever been of anything. Call it a matter of faith, I suppose. I dislike the term, but it applies. If that's the way you want to play this, then fine. But don't expect me to buy into your belief system if it isn't based on facts. A fair point, and fair criticism, and time, I will endeavor to show you the proof of my beliefs. Until then, think of me as you would any other member of the team. Gobet has a rat, I have this, it is mine, and you cannot take it from me. This is a lot to process, Rector. Now, let's go back to what we were talking about before. If you wish. Actually, let's talk about something else. Fine, fine, very well. What would you rather talk about? This is a lot to process, Rector. Yeah, I'm certain it is, for what it's worth. I think that you're handling the information rather well. In the past, there were others who were more rigid in their thinking. When I revealed myself to them, they reacted badly. I'm quite pleased that you haven't done the same. I don't judge my allies on what they are, it's what they do that counts. A man after my own heart. I wish that others were so open-minded. I'm not a broken thing to be fixed, I'm exactly what I was meant to be. You don't know how rare it is to find others who accept me as such. And now, if you don't mind, I would like to leave. He turns back to his work desk. There is work to be done. Of course, Rector. Do you think we'll catch up after another run? He doesn't turn. Be well. Okay, let's talk to Duncan now. The clanking of metal followed by grunts from a hard exercise erupt from the hatchway of Wu's cabin. The first thing you notice when you enter is its renewed cleanliness. The food cans are gone and his equipment is neatly laid out on his bedding. Everything in its place. The next thing you notice is the smell. It's like a middle school locker room in July. Wu finishes his jumping jacks and grabs a towel off his bunk. His exposed flesh gleams with perspiration. Hey! Hey, how it's going? Well, no. Wu, open a porthole. This place reeks. Do you see a porthole, FH? This is an interior cabin, not the best for ventilation. But I don't think you can buy to check on my hygiene. What's your deal? What do you think about that last run? Wasn't the last run FH? I assume it came out okay since you're here to ask about it. Anyway, enough about that. Need anything else? Still thinking about Edward Sang? He rubs the towel under his arms, compartmentalized him. Edward Sang is a topic in a file cabinet in my head. I'm only thinking about Raymond now, finding out what happened to him, what really happened to him. Still think he's alive? More than ever, Raymond's alive, I'm sure of it. He continues stretching. We are getting close to the plastic-faced man, Duncan. I know, I haven't stopped thinking about him since we first saw him in that video. The one when he attacked Raymond in the tea house. He wipes down one side of his neck with the towel, folds it, wipes down the other side. Listen, FH, I'm not gonna press you to take me with you when you head out to snatch him. You take the right people for the job, and then you get the job done, okay? But I want to be there when you interrogate him. I want to hear what he has to say with my own ears. Are you gonna have a problem with that? No, of course not. Good. We're brothers. I'd hate to have him to mess you up. He flushes his pearly white. Like I said, you can take me with you on the run or not. It's your call. But I intend to be there for the fun part. Oh, we'll both have fun with Mr. Plastic Face. Good, let's go to town on him together. He drops his towel on his bunk. This is the guy who knows what the hell is going on. The one who may have killed Raymond. I'm gonna squeeze him until I find out what his fucking ancestors know. Just promise me that you'll be able to control yourself, otherwise we are going to have a problem. This is Raymond we're talking about, who drops his hands to his slides and closes the gap between you. His voice is calm, sober, deliberate. I'm not gonna screw this up, I promise. You told me you were resentful when I took off, but maybe it was about how Raymond handled the thing with Double T. No, it was about you disappearing for 8 years without a word, but we're past that now. Wu pulls his right elbow across his chest with his left hand, gets a good stretch. But that was a messed up night, a lot of things happened, and I wouldn't be surprised if some, I don't know, emotions got jumbled together. Feelings about the way I handled things? That was part of it, sure. I'm still carrying that around. But mostly it was about Raymond. We'd butted heads before, I'd broken plenty of his rules in the past, but I'd never seemed so disappointed. I'm still not sure why, never figured it out. Why don't you walk through it from the beginning? Start right when Lockjaw showed up at Ray's house. Who pulls his left elbow across his chest and lets out a little groan. Oh, so this was 2045, years after the summer we moved in with Raymond. We hadn't seen DT or Lockjaw or any of the gang in forever. Raymond's rules. No contact with our hoodlum friends, no visiting the squad to check up on them. We weren't even allowed to see that Astlan family and their dog. You and the damn dog. I swear you two should have moved in together and left us out of it. The way I remember it, we woke up in the middle of the night and there was Lockjaw standing in our room, covered in blood. My first thought was that Raymond was gonna kill us. Can you imagine? There's a teenage Salish Indian covered in blood in our bedroom, and my first thought was that I might get in trouble for it. Raymond was an intimidating guy when we were young. Isn't it weird? I towered over him, and it just didn't matter. The little man just had that way of looking at you, that tone. Who throws his elbow behind him, twist at the waist. So, Lockjaw's bleeding all over our bedroom, and you're whisper yelling, "Where's DT? What happened to Double Tray?" 5 minutes later, we are dressed in black and on our way back to Baran's. We had to. Of course, if it wasn't for Double Tray, neither of us would be here right now. DT was the one who took us to the teen center, introduced us to Raymond. Man, that was a messed up night. The 162s had overrun the Leary squad, better positioned to take on the nukes. Benzo and Tusk were bleeding out, the Hernandez family was half-eaten, and little Joe, that street walker with the electric false eyelashes, was lying on the floor in 2 parts. But we got Double Tray out alive. He was the only one, though, who stares at his boot. I can still hear Lockjaw screaming as the girls took him down. When the 162s wanted something, they did not pay. Anyway, all of that was just lead up. He lets out a long, slow breath. But still, it speaks to my state of mind that night. But I wouldn't back down when Raymond met us at the door. Neither one of you would budge. We both had the strength of the righteous. You and I had broken his rules out of loyalty, out of gratitude. He just didn't get that. But can you see it from his perspective? No, I can't, yeah. Who rubs his head thinking? He didn't just think we had broken his rules for that we'd backslid. We thought that we'd been playing him the whole year, that we were still street hearts. No wonder he was so furious. He felt betrayed. But you were able to get him to calm down and see reason. Got him to see my side of the story, and all you said was that one thing. That thing he said his mother used to say to him when he was being obstinate. What the hell was it? Most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply. Ooh, nods his head, remembering. Yeah, that intent to reply thing was really good to him. He saw that every time I was talking, he was thinking of the next thing to say back. Using his mother's words on him really did the trick. I wonder what kind of childhood he had. He rubs his chin, but the way he looked at you after that... I know, I think that may have been part of why I left. Yeah, I get it. We're cool now. And as for Edward Sang... maybe he's got mommy issues. Ooh, chuckles humorlessly. And who knows? Maybe I've got a few dandy issues to deal with too. Guess I should try and keep an open mind when we see him. Let's talk later. Anytime. Okay, so that was interesting. A little bit of our history. Go back. Let's talk to Isabel first. You enter Isabel's cabin to find her jacked into the octopus, her body slouches, motionless, tethered to the machine. The computer's large display flickers to life again, just as it did last time. Isabel's avatar fills the screen. This isn't helping. The avatar frowns down on you, a look of supreme disillusionment on its face. I'm decking. I'm in my safe space, and it doesn't help. The memories are just as painful here as they are in the real world. Your memories are a part of you. Decking doesn't make you leave that behind. No, I guess that it doesn't. White plumes of static flow from the amateur's fists. She's shaking. It fucking should, though. I can't handle not having a way to escape from this. So, what are you going to do about it? I don't know, okay? I just don't. You know what? Hang on. The avatar winks off the screen, and the terminal powers down. Isabel's body shudders. A familiar tremor. Her consciousness is flooding back out of the matrix and into her meat. Her eyes flutter, and she takes a sharp breath. Slowly, shakily, she rises from her perch on the floor. "You're here with more questions, right?" She coughs into the crook of her arm, wipes her nose with her sleeve. "I'm sure that you are. Why else would you be bothering me? So, spit them out, and I'll go digging around in that cesspit that I call a memory. Who knows, maybe we'll find a clue." "Calm down, yes, we're on the same side here." She takes a deep breath, makes a visible effort to calm herself. "Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. This isn't the person that I wanted to be. I'll be okay. I can handle this. Just ask me your questions, okay? Let's get this ball rolling." "Any thoughts about that last run?" "You know what drives me crazy about Gabet? She does shit like this all the time. She doesn't think about anything. Not about the risks she takes, the consequences of her actions, or how her behavior can hurt her friends. She just jumps headfirst into whatever crazy scheme just got in her head and damn everyone else. Maybe, after all this, she'll finally learn her lesson." I have to say, I didn't expect to get off the sinking ship without blowing it apart. My money was on setting fire to the whole contraption and letting it burn. But you really pulled out all the stops. I can't believe we had to face down some kind of red demon god thing. But we did. I'm sure there's a lesson in there somewhere, but I'll be damned if I know what it is. Anything else you wanted to know? I have a question about the walled city. She clenches her jaw, nods. Go on. That's all for now. Can we talk about something else? Please, to be honest, almost anything else would be preferable. I gotta go, Isabel. She nods glumly. Be well. Okay, so no new info about that walled city. So let's talk to Gobet. Stepping into Gobet's cabin, you'll find her crouching on the floor. She appears to be midway through a valiant struggle against an enormous pastry. Her cheeks bulge out like a chipmunk's, and wispy threads of pork floss hang from her crump, speckled lips. She glances up at you, her eyes wide with alarm. Her jaw works to manage the enormous quantity of crispy dough in her mouth, but she doesn't seem to be making much headway. You know, between the two of you, my money's on the pastry. She struggles to move her jaw, but her mouth is stuffed too full for her to make much headway. She gestures feebly toward a pitcher of water on the ground near her feet. Hand her the pitcher. She tilts back the pitcher and sucks down its contents. As the water pours into her mouth, she's slowly able to work through the food stored in her cheeks. Finally, she lowers the water pitcher, coughing. Okay, yeah, now to self. The pastry terrace on Prince Edward Road makes them dry. She takes another swig from the pitcher, grimacing. Moist green apple and jelly throughout my ass. That thing was like a dessert made of pig. Maybe you shouldn't have tried to cram the entire thing into your mouth at once. I was challenging myself, for science, and it wasn't the whole pastry. It was just half of one. She lifts the remaining pastry for your inspection. The pork floss that coats its exterior looks almost festive. It's more reminiscent of a beige, curly tinsel than it is a food. You want the rest? Sure, I'll take it. She blinks in surprise. Really? Sure, then it's all yours. Here, catch. She tosses the remaining pastry to you. It sails through the air, glistening suggestively in the dim cabin light. Catch it. You snatch the flying pork brick out of the air. It's surprisingly dense, with a half-rough equivalent of that of a softball. Eat it. You raise the pastry to your lips and take a bite. Seconds later, you can feel all of the moisture in your mouth evaporate. Gobet wasn't lying. This thing is dry. The flavor is surprisingly palatable, though. She blinks at you in astonishment. Huh, I can't believe you ate it. I'm impressed. If I ever get another of those again, I'm gonna let it sit in a bowl of condensed milk for at least a half an hour before I try putting it in my mouth. That might help. I don't know. Reconstitute it, I guess? I don't know. It might work. Anyway, you probably want to talk about what happened on the raft, huh? I think that in your place I would. Any thoughts about that last run? Yeah, of course I do. I mean, it was kind of a big deal, you know? We already said pretty much everything there is to be said, though, haven't we? I mean, it's not like we didn't go over this already, with the important lessons about responsibility and all that. Let's talk about what happened on the sinking ship. Yeah, she sighs. We can do that. First off, I should thank you. You at least came to help me, even though I didn't ask you to, or want you to. Actually, maybe I should be upset about that, but the important thing is that you did help me. I'm not gonna say that I couldn't have handled it without you, but it would have been really, really dicey. You would have been fine. Me and Is, we just made it a little bit easy for you. She managed a half smile. Yeah, sure you did. Thanks. On the bright side, we overturned Malvina and put the raft back in Cat's hands. That feels pretty great. The shiny object is at the bottom of Hung Hom Bay, lodged in a bank of silt and crab shit. That's pretty much where it belongs. But I've got to admit, something is gnawing at me. Before you and Is showed up, I was gonna sink the raft. I'd gotten halfway through arming the charges, and I was gonna send the whole sinking ship down in flames. Everyone on it would have died. Cat and Yasmin, all of them. All because I made up my mind early and didn't want to change it. Kinda makes me think, how many times before now I done what seems like the right thing, you know, followed my guts like I taught you, without realizing that there was a better option. This whole introspection, this kinda sucks, I gotta say. She looks up at you scowling. It's much more comforting now to just assume that all of my past decisions were right. Sure, it is. It's intellectually dishonest, but it's definitely comforting. She bites her lower lip. Yeah. You know, Memo, you aren't helping my mood any. I'm kind of having a tough time over here. She begins to pace, kicking piles of dirty clothes and blankets out of the way. Thrusting her hands into her pockets, she fishes out a madness and folly and tosses them down onto her cot. I don't do this very often, reflecting as for mirrors, not devastating attractive street shamans. I don't know how you hand ringers deal with feeling this way. By hand ringers, do you mean people who learn from their mistakes? I guess, maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really do this kind of thing. So, tell me what to do next. What comes after this? After you suffer through your embarrassment for a while, you try to learn something from it. Huh? You're always boring, Memo. And it's complicated and becomes with way too many bad feelings. She scowls. But yeah, I get it. There's probably even some value there. I'm never going to start second-guessing everything that I do, though. That just isn't me. Good, because that would be dumb. Don't question yourself before circumstances give you a reason to. Right, that makes sense, I guess. Alright, Memo, I'll give it a shot. Who knows? Maybe there's some value in hand-wringing after all. I guess we'll have to see. Anyway, things turned out the way they did. I don't know what might have happened if we'd tried to do something different. But there's one thing that I can say for certain. Things are better in Hung Hong Bay than they were before we went to the sinking ship. We did some good out there. That's something. I didn't go out there to save Hong Kong Bay. I did it to help you. Mission accomplished then. And come to think of it, there are two things that I can say for certain. You wanna hear the second? Lay it on me. I think that the rat is happy that the shiny object is gone. She pauses for a moment, considering that, or maybe that stupid egg did something to me. I don't know for certain. Either way, something is different. I can feel it in my gut. Gubet, are you sure that came from a rat? Course I am. I had a vision. It had colorful lights, dancing rodents, the works, and when the world came back into focus, this magic marble was in the palm of my hand. She tosses the stone into the air and catches it with her other hand. Neat, huh? No, I don't know quite how it works yet, but I'm sure that it does something. I mean, it has to, right? Red wouldn't just give me a normal rock. She's a trickster and all. But that'd be mean. So mark my words, the next time we're in the field, something magical is going to happen. I mean, literal magical. It will be a journey of discovery for both of us. I'll be looking forward to that. Me too, and thank you, Memo. I really mean that. You can fly by my side anytime. I've got a question about Isabel. Oh yeah? Well, sure then. Ask away. She told me that you let her out of the walled city when you were kids. Care to fill in the details on that? Yeah, I guess I'm not surprised. It has never been on padding a story with unnecessary detail. Wanna tell your side of the story? Seems that I've got a vested interest in the walled city these days. Yeah, sure, why not? I'll share. She taps her chin thoughtfully. To start, I guess that you're gonna need to know what the walled city was like when me and these were kids. She didn't tell you anything about it, did she? No, she didn't say much. Oh, then that you'd saved her. Didn't think so. She reaches down, absent-mindedly strokes Madness's silky coat. The rat chips happily at her cares. Well, for starters, you should probably know that the walled city wasn't always as bad as it is now. It was always dangerous, but 10 years ago it was just a run-of-the-mill slum. Still safe enough that walking in didn't qualify as a suicide attempt. I'd figured that what I saw in there had to be the bottom of the downward spiral. The bottom? What you saw? No, Mamu. When you went into the Lotus, then you were on the outer perimeter of the walled city. What you saw early is the best that the walled city of today has to offer. As you go deeper toward the center, it gets a whole hell of a lot worse. Anyway, back when I was a kid, it was pretty much all like what you saw in the Lotus Den. Not exactly Victoria Harbor, but survivable, if you knew what you were doing. Back then, I used to play in the Walled City, where that would lead me into all of the nooks and crannies that grown-ups were too big to fit through. There was this other young shaman in there that I used to play with. His name was Happy or Lucky, something like that. He followed Pig, nice guy, good card player. Obviously, none of this was a good idea. A teenage girl going into the Walled City by herself? That's a recipe for disaster. I didn't realize any of this at the time, though. I loved playing in the alleys and crawl spaces of the Walled City. It was fun. Were your parents while you were doing all of this? That, I think. I'm not exactly sure, she shrugs, a non-committal gesture. They were gone, though, out of the picture. I was pretty much free to do whatever I wanted. No, with Isabel, it was a little different. She wasn't a street kid, not technically. She had parents who loved her. They just couldn't keep her safe, because in the Walled City there's no such thing. How bad was it for her? Bad. Could have been a lot worse, of course. Her family could have been living deeper inside the wall toward the center. From what I heard, that's hell on earth, but Isabel and her family had it bad enough. They were in the Mansion District. Mansion District sounds nice, right? But it really isn't. Imagine a sort of holding pen for refugees from the Middle East and Africa. Basically, anyone who isn't Asian, European or goblinoid. No cram it full to twice its normal capacity and make sure that nobody living there can afford a loaf of bread. No goblinoids? There weren't any orcs or trolls in Isabel's district? No, people like me and Duncan get their own districts in the Walled City, regardless of their country of origin. Nice, cushy places on the outer perimeter of the wall. There are advantages to being big and strong, especially when everyone around you is too malnourished to fight back. Of course, the residents of the Goblinoid districts all share a metatype or two. They've got something in common, a set of shared experiences to tie them together. Not so in the Mansion district. The only thing that those people had in common was their skin color, and the fact that they were living in crushing poverty. There wasn't even a common language for them to speak. It was a pretty rough place, lots of infighting, lots of gang-on-gang violence. People did band together for protection, but there wasn't a lot of hope. Everyone lived in fear of being sent deeper into the slum, toward the center. When you start getting dragged in the direction, you don't come back. Sounds like a charming place. Yeah, charming. And that's where I met Isabel. It wasn't long before we were friends. She was interesting. I think that's why I let her legend to me. The girl was smart and savvy, but cripplingly shy. She didn't belong in the Walled City. No one really does, but with her it was painfully obvious. She was like a little mouse crammed into a box full of weasels, and it was only a matter of time before somebody snapped her up. But you got her out of there before that could happen. She nods. That's right. More accurately, that got her out of there. She came to me in a dream, showed me that whatever was going bad in the Walled City was getting worse. The whole place was rotting from the inside out, choking in bad key, and lost hope. I decided to go inside one more time. If I found Isabel, I'd offer to lead her out. If I didn't, well... She grimaces, spreads her arms. You did find her. Doesn't matter what would have happened if you hadn't. Thanks. It isn't pleasant to think about, especially considering what a shithole the walled city is now. The truth of the matter is, if I hadn't pulled Isabel out of there, she'd probably be dead by now. I get it. Someone did the same for me and Duncan once. She nods. Yeah, I knew that you get it. And I did bump into her, and she did follow me, and Red got us both out of safe. So there you have it. Happy endings all around. What about the other people who stayed behind? That other shaman that you knew? They went bad. Crazy. That pig shaman that I knew wound up going full on toxic. It was horrifying. He burned himself out in an orgy of blood. She shudders. Nasty business, and not for me. Toxic? What does that mean? When a shaman goes toxic, he goes bad. It's like if you invert the small meaning of a totem. But that's what a toxic shaman does. Dog shamans are loyal and friendly, like all good dogs are. A toxic dog shaman is a rabbit. They're both dog, but they're different aspects of dog. Get it? Yeah. And your pig shaman friend went toxic? That's what I heard. You don't want to know what happened to him when he became. It was pretty bad at the end. Before the locals overwhelmed him, a lot of people died. What about Isabel's family? She said that they were still in the walled city. Why didn't you bring them with you? You think that I didn't want to? She sweeps a loose strand of hair out of her eyes. Look, it was going to be dangerous enough to get Isabel out on her own. Dragging a whole family out with her would have been impossible. Why? Because they weren't like me and Is. They hadn't grown up on the streets. They were upper-class people back in Somalia, before they immigrated to Hong Kong. They were hopelessly out of their element. Even if I had managed to find them, they probably would have done something stupid and gotten us killed. So you just left them? Damn right I did. Even if I'd managed to convince them to come with us, they would have gotten caught. The Yellow Lotus would have kidnapped them if they were lucky. If they were unlucky, the thrill gangs or gun leggers might have gotten them. It wasn't worth the risk to even try. She sniffs. Besides which, Isabel didn't want to bring her family. She wanted to get away from them as much as she did from the walled city. Never could get her to tell me why. That's all. Can we talk about something else? Sure, ask away. I'm all ears. Thanks, Gobet. Okay, so we have talked to everyone. The next job will be the job for the goal. But let's get first to the Parlor of Five Phases. A sight unexpected from the Windows Lab Dash product displays strikes you as you walk through the shop. Everything is clean, unusually clean. No spotless, not spotless, a nearby food plate resting atop a small collection of books speaks to that, but otherwise the piles of journals and notebooks and books from before are, for the most part, on shelves, organized. The shopkeeper is nowhere to be seen. You don't remember whether an open sign was on the front door, but the handle turned easily enough, but someone must be there. You approach the front counter and see a service bell. Ring the bell. You hear a thump followed by a loud "shit." Crafty leaps up from behind the counter, rubbing the top of her head, a duster in her other hand. Her eyes widen when she sees you. Mamu! Oh, you've been busy. I feel like I walk into another dimension. Crafty waves your command away. I was getting hounded by some of my regular patrons and maybe a sanitation officer or two. You see the urgency in her eyes as she leans forward. That doesn't matter, Memo. I found it. The thing we've been searching for. I know what's happening inside the walled city. Is everything okay? No, definitely not. She takes a breath. The Yama Kings. They're real. Wow, no. That's a big leap from imaginary monsters. Crafty's eyes hold your gaze with an unshakable intensity. I'm serious. You know me. I'm the last person to start believing in Santa Claus, much less my mother's ravings, but this is solid. The Yama Kings are real, and they're coming. She lays her palms flat on the counter, almost breathless. They've been on their way to the walled city since the place was built. The dreams, their portents of their coming, omens manifested as dreams. Still, just think about it. The strange things we've been dreaming, the sensations, the hunger, asleep or awake, it affects us all the time, anywhere. The connection, we're all in or near the walled city itself, a beacon for disaster. Something or some things have noticed the city, and now we're noticing them. Then everything that's happened in the walled city, it's been the Yama Kings all along? Not quite. I don't think the Yama Kings are the cause of the walled city's corruption. They're the effect. Something in the walled city has so polluted the feng shui of the place that it's acting as a magnet for malevolent astral beings. Mom was right. There's something at work in the walled city. I don't know if it's a curse or something else, but there's something deeply unnatural at work in that place. Her words shake. I'm so sorry, Mother. I thought I was closing my eyes to your madness, but all I did was prevent myself from seeing the truth, from seeing what was unfolding right in front of me. Can the Yama Kings leave the walled city? Why would they? The curse, or whatever it is that's attracting the Yama Kings to the walled city, has turned the city into an ideal hunting ground. With a practiced sweep of her hand, she tucks a strand of hair behind her ear. A foggy handprint slowly disappears from the counter where her hand was pressed. Have you ever heard of terraforming? It's an old science fiction idea. You make a planet, like the moon or something, into an Earth-like environment to support human habitation. That's what's happening in the walled city, only in reverse and on astral level. I think that pent-up toxic key in the walled city is turning the place into an extension of the Yama King's home plane, making the environment there hospitable for them. They won't range beyond it for the same reason why you wouldn't leave a bathysphere in the deep ocean. But as we've seen, that corruption is spreading. It's already starting to seep into Heoi. If left unchecked for another 30-40 years, who knows what might happen. Are these beings what broke your motor? The Yama Kings weren't directly responsible for Mom's corruption. It was caused by the root problem, that which attracted the Yama Kings to the city in the first place. The poison at the bottom of the well. Whatever it is, it's been there from the very beginning, and it's in no way natural. People did this. I suppose we can take some comfort in knowing that your mother was under the influence of something else. She wasn't herself. I know where you're coming from, Memo, but my mother still allowed herself to be corrupted. She put herself in the way of evil, and it took her, not a second thought for anyone else. Her her research has given us valuable resources. I'm glad these journals, these pieces of her mind, can be used to arm ourselves against the Yama Kings, but the knowledge it's given us will help in the trials to come. Let's backtrack for a moment. This is big, crafty, huge. With your words, an unusual mood washes over Crafty. She raises her hands and grips her tattooed arms, hugging her chest. Please, Memu, you have to stop it. This evil. For yourself, for my mother, for every man, woman, and child in the world city and Heoi. Nobody outside of our community will care about this. They've already written people like us off. If what's happening here is to be undone, we have to be the ones to undo it. I'll see what I can do. She continues to hold herself tight, but the tension in the air lessens. She exhales. Thank you. I need to take care of some things on my end. You take care of things on yours. Will do. Good luck, Memu. Okay, let's go back to the Go players. Jean frowns. Look who's back. Why don't you go a car or something and leave us alone? I, for one, enjoy my mom's visit. A hint of a smile touches Love's lips as Jean grumbles to himself. How we can help you? Sorry to interrupt, I was just wondering if you're still all having the dreams. This again? Don't you have anything better to do? Yes, we're all still having the dreams. Love's voice is calm, but troubled. However, they've gotten a hell of a lot worse. Jin shifts uncomfortably. Look, let's not go into detail. Okay, so no new dialogue for them. And our Matthew, drone seller. Real Matthew stands quietly, cheap suit wet with the rain, tapping his foot absently to the smooth just pervading the lot. A halo of cigarette glow smokes around him. Hey, beautiful. Good to see you. Let's set up, shall we? Goodbye, Matthew. No new dialogues. Okay, we still have the guy who will bring us on the ship. So it's time to talk to the monk. Chen is reclining against the stacks of cages as you approach, watching the display of a small treat player on the table. The treat displays the shimmering form of a dancing woman, weaving her way through a crowded club. It seems to have been filmed via portable recorder or possibly someone's cyber eyes. Draped in wild clothing that scintillates with lights and holograms, the dancer slips through the crowd like living mercury. Every step and evasion is effortless. You watch the dancer weave her way up a flight of stairs, moving toward the second floor balcony. As she ascends the stairs, her hands start to crackle with energy and points of light race across her neck, shoulders and spine. In the glitter and flash of the club lightning, no one else seems to notice. For a split second, she looks back at the camera's point of view, smiling seductively. Shen gestures towards the holographic display, smiling broadly. Keep watching, it's about to get good in a few seconds. The dancer arrives at the top floor, moving towards a particular table. The table's occupants, triad members judging by their tattoos, rise from where they're sitting and begin to draw weapons. Their expression indicates they're familiar with the dancer and intend to kill her. At this point, the dancer explodes into motion. She bobs and weaves out of the way of their gunfire, her fingertips flinging electricity and fire in long arcs. She seems to dance at and around the tried soldiers. Each step and beat causes an explosion of force that scatters table and rings. Wreath the elements, the woman cuts through the triad members in an effortless vein of destruction. The recording ends, and Shen straightens up. I could watch Lucky Pink out work all day. I don't know how she works her magic, but it's a beautiful and terrifying thing to behold. Really glad she is with the Yellow Lotus and not an enemy syndicate. That was hell of a dance. That it is. She's been a dancer since she was a kid. And I guess her magic just spontaneously manifested when she was a teenager. She's figured out how to channel it into that kind of whatever it is you saw. I have no idea how she does it. Shen shrugs helplessly. Anyway, what can I help you with? Do you like working for the Yellow Lotus? Has nothing to do with it. I have debts to Grandfather Wu, and I intend to pay them. I guess they're a good enough syndicate. We waste a lot of blood and money fighting the Red Dragon though. Can't say that I like that end of the business, since it seems like such a huge waste. If it weren't for the Grandfather, I might see about getting White Mink, Steel Arm Low, and Lucky Pink to break away. Maybe start our own thing until that's not quite so far over. Lifting one hand palm up, Shen smiles faintly. But I can't leave him. I owe him everything. Why would you split off at all? I've heard a lot of talk between the Yellow Lotus Vanguards and Incense Masters. They're dead set on eliminating the Red Dragons, despite the risk. When that kind of talk gets tossed around, nobody's safe. It leads to all-out warfare. Last time that happened, the White Jade Brotherhood got wiped out completely. It's just bad strategy to try and wipe them out. It's all this old rivalry between the elders. It has nothing to do with the business end of things. Old vendettas get you killed, even if they're not yours. Tell me more about your crew. With folded arms, Shen regards you with some suspicion. We're very private people. Generally, when I get asked a question like that, I figure it's because someone's looking for something to use against me. Shen's expression softens after a moment, however. Well, you've been a decent person so far. I guess I can tell you some. White Mink and I started our cell. Grandfather Wu took him to Wudang a year or two before he did the same for me. He made it clear that he expected repayment in kind when we were old enough, and since the Yellow Lotus was his organization, we joined up. At first, it was mostly small-time stuff, shell games on street corners, stuff like that. We picked up a new member after about 6 months, and things started to change. Freedom C, Warp Kit, absolute murder with twin pistols, the kind of focus I can bring to bear in Kung Fu. That's how he shoots. Shen grins crookedly. His parents named him Freedom and sent him to UCAS to live with an uncle. Guess they wanted him to be really American or something. Beyond that, there's Yang, the lawyer you saw me talking to you before. The four of us do a pretty close business between jobs for Steel Arm Law and Kindly Check. It's not like we're in charge of much, but it beats starving. Yeah? Talk to you later. Okay, so we still have some people to talk, especially maximum law. Let's see how this can be solved. Oh, a thingy in here. Restores downed teammate to battle with 50% of their total health, consumed when used or automatically when downed. Dog vegan, the gold trauma kit taken. Maximum law. Yo, Momo. Law's voice is gregarious, yet tinged with aim. He smiles widely. How can I style out the carnivore? What do you need? I got some metadata for you. Yo, tell me what you've got. The network runs on the information. Never mind, let's talk about something else. Law, we need to talk privately. It's important. Yo, I am your man for that. Law glances around with an almost comic furtiveness. Bulky goggles weaving. Here, I can't leave the palace. That's okay, we can talk here. Just keep your voice down and turn off your open sign for a moment. Yo, you got it. Anybody ever tell you you're kinda spooky guy, Memo? You kinda are. Love's boat obscures you from the shore, and his bulky piles of sharp-shielded electronics somewhat obscure you from the boardwalk. Concealment is poor and dynamic at best, but at least the lanes of visibility are confined. I dig the shadiness, I dig it. No, I am your man for serious business. What's up? You've been talking about me and my team on the BBS, and people are sniffing around. Oh, people talk. Whatever. It's no big deal. The BBS and the Wampoa boards are secure. This is what Wampoa does. We handle info, and right now, your face is golden in Wampoa. Decking option? No, they aren't secure. They're anonymous. What do you mean? They're data havens. Corporate deckers and bots crawl them. Johnsons use them as much as the runners do. That's part of why they're able to survive. The blood drains from Law's face. You're serious, aren't you? Oh no, oh, fuck man, what I've done. He swallows hard. Sweat runs in streams down his face from under his VR goggles. He breathes heavily. A quick glance around reveals that there are lull and the usual busy foot traffic on the nearby docks. Only a few people are in sight. This may be the only opportunity to kill him. You're an asset to here and Wampoa, but you need to be discreet. Can you be discreet? Yeah, I can. Law nods and swallows hard again. What should I do, Memo? Fly your own flag, set up your own shop, but keep your mouth shut. Maximum Law looks like he's about to be sick. His voice is faint. Thanks, Memo. Don't mention it, just keep your chin clean. Yo, Mamo. Law's voice is gregarious, yet tinged with awe. He smiles widely. How can I style out the carnivore? What do you need? I'm here for tech. Show me what you got. Wow, pretty big number of new programs, so and one more. %40 boost is pretty nice. And we'll be picking this one as well. Well, now we need this. Boom! Another problem solved by Law's Technology Palace. See you later, Law. Yo, Mamo, let me know if you need anything. You're the biggest carnivore in the GOG. Okay, let's check at Bao. Nope, he's not speaking. Okay, so let's get to the doctor. Ambrose looks exhausted, staring blankly, a glass of amber whiskey next to him. Engine parts litter the floor of the operating theater. Hey, Memo, big typhoon on the way in. Better batten down the hatches. A robot arm swings over for him to take a weary drag from a cigarette. It's gonna be a kicker. What's the deal with the typhoon? It's your first typhoon, isn't it? Typhoon grow out in the Pacific, then come crashing into the coast. The biggest one hit Category 7. Real monsters. Unreal. This one's just the big wet huffer. Streets are gonna flood, aircraft will be grounded, this one's vacant. So get ready for a lot of communications interference and get your galoshes. It's gonna be wet. He gives you a sidelong glance, a sly look in his eyes. Good time for running in storms. All that wind and the rain obscures surveillance. The curfew clears the streets. Cops and security contractors are all tied up. I'm surprised you're not throwing a typhoon party. Nobody's in the mood for it. I'm not either. These dreams are driving everyone crazy. He takes a big slug of his whiskey. A mechanical arm from the wheelchair absently fills the glass back up. Fortunately, I have special training for dealing with dreams. We're at the sea level here. What will the storm surge do to Heoi? Nothing. The Shirang wall will seal off all of Victoria Harbor behind a big concrete breakwater. It shuts down the harbor and keeps sea level constant. We've seen the harbor wall activated before. It's a miracle of engineering. It will stop a 2-meter surge with 7-meter high waves. Who are you, Ambrose? Really? Ambrose, stop what he's doing. He regards you silently. His living eye glitters with intelligence. I'm Ambrose Rokitansky. I'm the doctor around here. Anyone else I might have been is dead and gone. There's no such a person as Ambrose Rokitansky, is there? Maybe. I wasn't born with that name. Maybe Icebreaker's just a notorious and secretive Kong runner who vanished with his team. Maybe I never worked for him. Maybe I did. I'll tell you what's real. This clinic is real. What I do here is real. This place is as real as it comes. Karen was real. She was my friend. And the heart in my story. That's real too. As far as the rest, well, some stories are too dangerous to tell. Why did you leave Chicago, really? Maybe it wasn't Chicago I left. There's been a lot of mixing in the UCAS Midwest. It's a big territory that my accent could be from. Maybe I crossed someone. The Mafia, RS, the Russians, Stafrashek, Ambrose Wings, but with his cyber eye, his living eye keeps watching you relentless. Maybe saying that my old hood is inside the Chicago containment zone is just a way to cover my attacks. Go Bears. What really happened to your team? Things went bad. We got ambushed. Ambrose squints appraisingly at you. Its expression is unreadable, a perfect poker face. I must not have been doing a good job of Overwatch. That ambush killed everyone else. Eventually, it even killed Karen. With his 3 fingers, Ambrose points to the place tubes emerge from his side. My liver and kidneys are machines in my wheelchair. I've lost about half my body. I'm in chronic pain, and every night it's the same thing. Nightmares. They never end. If I had any part in the end of the crew, well, I paid with almost everything. It's still less than odd. Ambrose is suddenly overcome with emotions. It seems to catch him by surprise. His poker face cracks in an agonal grimace, and tears well up in his eyes. After an instant he masters himself, and his stony face returns. What matters now is making something productive of my life. I mean it when I saw I'm just about the luckiest guy in the world. So, the doublespeak, what happened to your team? I don't know. I never saw any of them ever again. It's all ancient history now. You know anything about an Archaeopteryx on the BBS? What, like the bird? Yeah, a little bird whom I watched divert attention from a very good rigger dog and a defty fish for information on one of Icebreaker's old associates. What? What are you implying? That... wait... that it's me? Ambrose breaks into a smile that is sunny, though possibly a bit forced. Hey, I'm flattered. I really am, but I stay away from the BBS. That world's behind me. Although, I suppose if I ever found someone with whom I had unfinished business... Ambrose's voice drops several octaves for just a moment. I'd be a real angry cuss. Thanks, Ambrose. Just had to ask. No problem. Welcome to the Shadows, Memo. He smiles knowingly at you, but not in an unkindly way. Enjoy your stay. Show me your services. Sure thing. Tune-up or spare parts. Medical supplies. Okay, that's one pretty expensive. One should be enough, just in case. Come back to the garage soon. Goodbye, Ambrose. Time for me to go. Cheers, Memo. Talk to you later. Okay, nothing new here. And let's go to Glob 88 again. The young troll bouncer is as far from the alert as he's likely ever been. Man and woman pass through the front door without earning even a glance from Freddy. He just steps away at the screen of a tablet, obviously oblivious to the world. Something on that screen more important than your job? Uh-huh. Earth to Freddy. He finally looks up. Oh, it's you. Sorry about that. Just making some final arrangements. My father thinks I'm not ready for the big time. He thinks I'm not strong enough or resourceful enough or whatever, but I'm proving him wrong already. See, I got it all figured out. The Hell Thunder crew has been spot to the south mostly, out among the islands there. The Star Ferry Service operates all through the region, so I just need to head down to Stanley and start hoping ferries until I hear the drums. They play the drums, did you know that? That's why I've been practicing. I've got a plus-sized capsule reserved at the Dynasty Mansions in Stanley, and I got enough cash to cover that and the ferry rides for about 2 months. And get this, Stanley is also known as Check Chew, which means bandit's pose. Why? Because of pirates. It's a sign, I'm telling you. I've also got a lead on someone with Tolo Worry down there who may be able to help. He's got connections inside the Yamatetsu, and they pretty much run the marine department these days. They monitor the ships coming and going, so if pirates hit, they'll know. And once they know, my guy will make sure I know. It's all coming together. I'll show my bar what I'm made of. I'm leaving as soon as I get my loose ends tied up. I think this is a bad idea. Piracy is a bloody trade with a short life expectancy. What do you mean? Oh, do anyone? I'd expect you to understand. That's what I'm saying. I steal and fight for a living. It's not glamorous. Shit, now you got me all confused. I suppose I don't have to leave immediately. One more day to stew on. It won't matter much. Just sleep on it, Freddy. Okay. Frederick watches the street with a still sullen diligence. He shoots you a glance, clearly preoccupied. I got a lot on my mind. So, looks like we saved his ass, at least for now. Let's go inside. First, Callum. Callum is in a rare state, stabbed neither in melancholy nor in alcohol-filled oblivion. His excitement can barely be held back by the corners of his mouth, and this comes in a stark contrast to the dread hanging over Heoi. This is it, Memo. It's actually happening. Alright, spill it. I don't know where to start. I'm just so excited. It's official. My ship has finally come in. My mother won't approve, my father won't care, and my brother won't understand. But this opportunity is too great, Baza. Certainly, you see that. Seems almost too good to be true. You don't know the half of it. Mr. Tai confessed to something else. They perform a genetic test after our dinner. He says I'm his son. It all makes sense now. I will never fit in here, and I'm nothing like my father or my brother. Don't you see? My mother had an affair with Mr. Tai. All her attempts to keep me down were religious efforts to save face. She couldn't let anyone know her shame. That Henry isn't my father. But it doesn't matter now. My real father was found me, and he's going to give me the real life I always deserved. For starters, he's invited me on a Baihu corporate retreat for execs and their families. He wants me to meet his wife and his 2 daughters. Imagine that. I've got 2 little half-sisters. I can't wait to leave it is all behind. This is still your family, Callum. But can you see how I'm hurting here? This is the first time I've been sober in years. This is my chance. I should throw it away? Or what? A father who is not my real father, a mother who lied to me, a brother whose greatest joy is hurling bodies into the street. We can't choose our families, but we can choose to stand by them. But I can choose, can't I? That's what this is all about. But maybe you're right. I need to think about this. There's a lot at stake here, and that world isn't always as it seems. Think about it for a while. Long nuts, truthfully. Thanks, Mamu. I will. Let's talk to Henry. Henry stands unmoving at the back of the club, staring blankly at the wall. The wall being built with a window, the view afforded would lead straight out to the sea. But as it is, the old troll stares at nothing. I've come to a decision. So, will be the soup or the salad? You're a strange man, but here it is. I can't do it any longer. I can't keep on going this way. I'm just so tired, and not just because of the dreams disturbing my sleep at night. I was wary of this world long before that. If anything, the dreams seem to serve to underscore the truth. I don't belong here. I know it for a long time. I just couldn't admit to myself. I tried my best for the sake of Hermione and the boys, but I'm more a burden to them than a help. Better for me to be out of their hair. This just isn't my world anymore. Likely it never was, but maybe there's still a world out there for me, but somewhere on the water. Or maybe the only world for me is back in the past. All I know is that it's not here. When my number is up, whether it's tomorrow or years from now, I'll just slip into the water, less of a burden in death than I was in life. Simple and neat. The tide is going out, and it's time I went with it. Nobody ever found peace by running, Henry. I'm not running away, I'm running too. If there's a better life for me out there, can you really begrudge me trying to find out? You need help, Henry. Everyone does, and you won't find it alone. Help? It's true. I haven't been feeling myself ever since those dreams started. I just thought my eyes were finally being open. No, I don't know. A moment ago, it all seemed so clear. Give it some time. The ocean will always be there. You're right, Memo. She'll be there, waiting for me. He sighs heavily, like a gust of sad wind. I'll stay this course just a little longer. And the last person to talk is Armin. The troll woman looks more weary than you have ever seen her. The club is virtually shut down and she doesn't even seem to care. She has lost that presence which had once so defined her, and it has left her visibly smaller. The world's gone mad, hasn't it? The world's always been mad. What's happened? She looks at the nearby photo of her son Callum, hanging from a metal shelf. Callum thinks Henry isn't his father. He thinks I had an affair. He even threatened to tell Henry if I don't let him leave. The truth is, he's alright. I did have an affair. I had several affairs. I was young and beautiful and very aggressive. I was going places Henry was gonna see most of the time. Henry isn't Callum's father, but I can't tell Callum the truth about his father. It might destroy him. Let me guess, Callum's father is his mysterious new benefactor. Yes, he is. That man now whispers promises to my son a free ride through university, a guaranteed starting position at Baiho, a bright future. Callum doesn't know what the world is like. Once I was ready to leave Henry for that man, he lavished gifts on me. He told me I was special. Maybe he really did love me. I was a troll girl from Heoi, transcending her meager beginnings. I was becoming someone of worth, and I even had a powerful human lover. And mine fixes a level gaze at you. Baiho has always thrown on metahumans. I was an exception. I thought that just because they accepted me, it wouldn't affect me anymore. In fact, I myself looked down on most metahumans as oversensitive and lazy. Then he invited me to a high-level corporate retreat for the weekend. I bet that ended badly. You have no idea. You want to know what they do at these retreats? They hunt. But what is there to hunt here in Hong Kong? Nothing. Nothing but that which is different. Those they secretly disdain. Those they see as animals. They hunt poor metahumans. Somehow they thought I'd be okay with it. They thought that I was one of them. They don't kill their prey, it's more satisfying to let them live, knowing their victims are powerless to find justice. They take trophies, the tips of an owl's ear, an orc's tusks, a troll's horns. She reaches up to stroke her own horns, as if reassuring herself that they are still intact. I realized I had already given them a trophy, my basic humanity, my principles. Hermione's voice cool and professional, her expression is earnest. For me, it wasn't about humans versus elves or orcs, or dwarves of my kind. I want you to understand that memo. It was about common humanity. It's about how we treat all people. What did you do? I acted like it was fine and held it together for the weekend. I hid my feelings like any good negotiator in a bad position. Then once the weekend was over, I cleaned out my office, I came back to Heoi and sent by home my resignation. Later, I found out I was pregnant with Callum. When the DNA test confirmed that Henry wasn't the father, I meant to terminate the pregnancy, but I couldn't bear to do it. And so, Callum, my son, one of the joys of my life. Maybe this man fancies himself as Callum's father. Even if he does, that still doesn't guarantee Callum's safety among those people. By-ho, yes, still by-ho. And maybe that man just wants to get back at me, or leaving him. After all, he had the audacity to say that I broke his heart. This is why I can't allow Callum to go. I would rather my son hate me forever than give himself to that world. Never mind draws herself up to her full height, she restores herself to her usual regal bearing. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have troubled you with my problems. You probably came here on business and your time is valuable. Can I show you anything? No, I'm sorry. You take care. Okay, so that was it. Just in case, let's talk to the column. Callum seems both unusually somber and unusually thoughtful. I'm thinking about what you said, thinking about it hard. You need anything to get your blood up? It does not. Okay, so it's time to go to MTR. Quick save and let's see which one is the quest of Gaichu. This one. Let's see. The MTR doors open as you approach. Travel to the Renraku warehouse in Tolo Harbor to ambush Gaichu's old red samurai unit. And Gaichu, Rakter, and Gobet. Everyone else is just too expensive. You are about to travel to Tolo Harbor. Continue? Confirm. And that was another part of Old Man Plays Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition blind playthrough. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I hope to see you soon and the next episode. And in the meanwhile, feel free to follow me on Twitch or subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you soon and enjoy the rest of your day.